What is good everyone, Tatsumi here, welcome back again for another video. So today, I know a lot of you guys are pretty excited to know about the information, skills, and abilities about these reincarnated and slime collaboration units. And nothing to worry, I do have the information of the first banner, and that will be Rimuru and Shuna. So these are just being released, and I believe that Dragon and Shishu will be on the second half, and their kit will be soon released at a later time. So yeah.
And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope you do. Just click the subscribe button and turn the notification bell for more videos like this in the future. Okay, without being said, let's start.
I'm pretty excited to know also about Rimuru's kits, and yeah, for now we have a lot of units that is currently on the Reincarnated slime collaborations. So we have the OG Tensura, and now we have the new version, which is a Japanese style version Tensura. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look what are they kits and abilities. So a little disclaimer here, these are just being translated. Words from skill arts and true arts might change in the future. Okay, so I have here with the Demon Lord Rimuru, the Japanese style version. So Demon Lord Rimuru is actually a dark unit and belongs to demon race. So the unique passive abilities, when Rimuru is the leader, reduce the damage taken of all allies by 20% for 70 seconds after the start of the quest. And this is not stackable. So nothing crazy about this passive. The second passive increases its own status resistance by 50%. And the third passive is HP absorption resistance, which is this is going to be a lifesteal resistance level 2, which is not really bad, but it's actually I think that is actually a pretty useless passive in my opinion. So moving on, let's go ahead and take a look with the skill. So skill deals 4500% dark elemental physical damage, and for each surviving demon allies, it increases own arch gauge by 20, and it can be maxed up to 80. Yeah, it is actually good, but there is actually a downside with this one, because you only if you don't have any demon allies in your party, then you will only get 820 arch gauge up. But yeah, overall there is so many dark units now in the game, and especially Demon Lord Box and also Diablo, something like you can also run with them. They are all demon, and then if you wanted to get that juicy 80 arch gauge by using his skill is pretty insane. And with this one, it has a cooldown around 14 seconds with a break power of 700, which is pretty decent. Okay, so moving on, in his arts deals 25,000% dark physical damage. So with this one, increases the damage of the next art used by allies by 150%. Okay, which is the same as Luana's true art. It boosts up arts damage by using her true arts, but this Demon Lord Japanese version, it also only uses his arts, so that is pretty good as well. And in addition, it also increases all allies maximum HP by 30% for 20 seconds. So yeah, it is actually pretty decent in my opinion, and this can be good as offensive and also good within the defensive as well. That helps him to get your allies survive in some situation. It is a pretty good kit, to be honest. So moving on to his true art. True art deals 66,000% dark physical damage, and this one reduces enemies' physical resistance by 100% for 20 seconds, and also it increases all allies' arch gauge by 6 for those who have 15% HP or above. So I believe this is another type F arts generator, which is actually pretty good, and it can be stuck to all arts generator other than the same type of arts gen. And yeah, he is actually a type F art generator. And moving on to the Super 2 art, deals a massive 180,000% dark elemental physical damage, and for each ally unit with HP over 80% also adds 40,000% to the Super 2 art damage, and it can be maxed up to 160,000%. So yeah, it is pretty good, a pretty decent damage multiplier. So it is a pretty achievable, to be honest, and it only have 80%, which is really good. But other than that, there is no effect like it's something like it reduces, or it's something like it provides to all allies, but it is actually a damage multiplier, which is really insane. And if you have this one max up, and it can be over around 340,000% a damage multiplier, which is really insane. So I believe if you get this one max, and then yeah, he is going to be a strong attacker, to be honest with you guys. And this 80% is a pretty achievable, to be honest, and it's really very insane. All you have to get is if you have a decent tank, or if you have a decent barrier, then you can achieve this 340,000% towards damage, and that is actually pretty insane. And yeah, moving on to the 2 equipment. So the 2 equipment is actually a 5-star physical equipment, and the unique passive ability for the Japanese version Rimuru, the damage and attack power increased by 30%, and it cannot be stuck, of course. And the second ability, which is attack power level 1, attack power increased by 5%. And the skill of this 2 art is that it deals 8,000% dark physical damage, and enemies dark resistance reduced by 30% for 10 seconds, and if the user is a demon, it additional increased by 20%, which is maximum of 50% down, and it has a 50 seconds cooldown, which is a pretty decent. And to be honest, this is actually a good item for Dark Rimuru, especially he got a huge damage multiplier from his Super 2 art. In addition that, if you get this one and then Super 2 art ready and then pop this equipment, combine the damage multiplier, and that would be pretty insane, to be honest. So what I can say about Dark Rimuru, the Japanese version, is yeah, this is actually pretty insane unit, guys, and it has a huge damage multiplier and also arts generator with a type F art gen, and also increase all allies HP by the using of his arts only, and also in addition with that, it also increases all allies arts damage by 150%. Moving on to the next one, which is Shuna's kit. So Shuna is actually a light unit and belongs to demon race, and it has 3 passive abilities. So the unique passive of Shuna, when she is not in status ailment, she will increase its own arch gauge by 3, and the cooltime speed of the healing equipment is also increased by 30%, which is pretty decent. And the second ability, it increases its own paralysis resistance by level 10, so that is 100% paralysis resistance. And the third passive ability is freeze resistance level 10. It also increases its own freeze resistance by 100%. So moving on in her skill. So her skill has a unique mechanic. So depending on the result of the fortune telling, your own skill gauge will increase, and each time you use the skill, the effect is randomly selected. There is actually 3 different arch gauge up in her skill. So the first effect is 40 up, arch gauge 40 up. Second effect is 45 arch gauge up, and the third effect is 50 arch gauge up, which is really not pretty bad, to be honest. It is actually randomized, but it doesn't matter. You can get 40 up, which is already good, to be honest. Moving on to her arts. So the arts is actually it recovers all allies HP by 50% and also reduces dark damage taken by 20% for 15 seconds. It's actually good defensive arts for dark enemies. So yeah. And also moving on to her True Arts. So True Art deals 50,000% light magical damage and heals all ally status ailments except faints. And for 25 seconds, all allies arch gauge is increased by 5 and a demon unit is also increased by additional 1. And I believe this is a type A arch general, which is it is stuck with the demon Lord Rimuru, the Japanese version, and there are stacks which is really good in addition with this game. So yeah, moving on for the Super True Art. So the Super True Art deals 130,000% light magical damage and revives one ally that is already dead with a maximum of 100 HP, and after the revival of the ally, no revival effect will be activated for 60 seconds and reduces enemies magic resistance by 150% for 30 seconds. I see that there was a problem in this Super True Art. Reviving a dead unit is not really necessary in this game because once you are dead, and meaning to say, and there is actually a quest that you can complete in a 3-star if there was no death on the team. But Shuna's Super True Art will revive you once you're already dead, and that is already not completed with a 3-star quest. Why not they just make it like put a revive effect to a selected ally, something like that, or maybe put a revive effect for the lowest HP ally with something like that, and that would be good. But yeah, overall you are not going to use the Super True Art. Instead, you are only going to use the True Arts, which is already actually insane to be honest. And and by looking at Shuna, Shuna will going to replace Rimuru, to be honest. Our OG Rimuru will be replaced by Shuna. So moving on, Shuna's true equipment is actually a 5-star support equipment, and it has a unique passive ability for Shuna. When equipped max HP by 20% at the start of the quest, the arch gauge increased by 100 and it cannot be duplicated. The second passive, which is a defense 10% up, the skill is for 10 seconds, arch gauge of all allies is increased by 3 per second, and if the user is a demon, increase all ally stats by 10%, which is pretty decent equipment. And it has a low cooldown, which is only 35 per seconds, which is not really bad to be honest. Okay, so here's what I can say about Shuna. Shuna is actually a decent support unit. We're reading her kits and abilities. It actually reminds me of the OG Rimuru that can heal by using her arts, but Shuna is here. I believe the OG Rimuru will be replaced by Shuna. Shuna will actually a great addition in our support team, which is it has a cleanse ability. Then that is pretty insane, man, to be honest. Okay, since you already know about their kits, passives, and styles, let me know what can you say about these units, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.